So welcome to DocWob TV. We were halfway through the build on the Pastrana 125 in the last episode. We feel it was too much for one episode, so we've managed to stretch it to two. The bike's not going to be finished today by any stretch, but it'll be up on its wheels, looking like it's supposed to. I'll talk you through the bits and pieces as they go on. This is just what we do. So next day we'll bolt the motor in. Like I say before, start with the big bolts, the swing arm, then the 10mm, then the 8mm. Don't ask me why. And that's what we've always done. The frames had all the powder coat took off the frame in the right position. I'll talk you through the rads, the pipe, the brakes. Let's crack on. So Travis was 16 when he raced this in 2000. He was basically the wonder kid. He was the next big thing. He was massive. He was tall on the bike, so the tall bar mounts, the tall seat foam is going to go on it. He won the Outdoor Nationals that year with my mate Lee McCullum as his mechanic. This is basically the evolution of the factory bike that I worked on in 98 and 99. This is the 2000 version. I think the prettier version with the yellow frame and the One Industries graphics. It looks $1 million. I've been collecting parts for this for a couple of years, and now we've decided to pull the trigger and put it together. So we'll see how we get on. Tone's making a meal of doing that linkage bolt there.
Make room.
No, it is tight. So this is a 14mm double-ended T-bar we've got in testing really. It's going to need a longer T-piece on it if we do make one. We make a 8, 10, 12. KTM guys have asked for a 13. This is a 14, so we'll run it in our workshop for 6 months. See how we get on with it. Like I say, right at the moment, it needs to be about there. So that's the only thing we've got different. But it's working well. We'll see whether it makes production or not. Now this is the 12. Tone's got the 10 the other end. And then you use the short end just to nip him up. Carbon engine mounts, very trick. As is everything on this bike, in fairness. So the linkage is a factory cast part with RG3 dog legs. We had dog bones. We had different lengths to mess with, so if we put this on and the thing looks in the wrong place, we'll change it. But they're like 103mm, 105mm. So we've got different ones. Shock is full factory, 18mm gold titanium nitrate shaft, billet foot. Strangely enough, not high and low speed compression back in the day, so that's as good as it got for 2000. 4.9 spring as Travis required. And once Tone's done up the linkage and we know it's all working and moving around, we'll bolt the shock on. Okay. So as with all our builds, factory builds, we use titanium bolts, steel nuts. Don't ever run titanium on titanium. All you'll get is that horrible squeaky sound where it's like seizing up together. So that's what teams do, that's what we do, it's what we've always done. If anybody recommends you use titanium nuts and bolts, they either don't know what they're doing or they're trying to sell you titanium nuts and bolts. It ain't the way forward. On factory Suzuki's are magnesium for bearing. This year he ran a Renthal sprocket. I've screwed up, I've put Michelin tyres on it. Turns out he was on Dunlops in 2000, so we've got to change the tyres again, but I'll bang it on anyway, just so the bike don't fall over when we're working on it. So At the moment it's got about 400 psi in the tyre, but we'll just get the wheels in just to build the bike up a little bit. It's a magnesium brake carrier for the 240 rear disc. Factory rear axle, which is basically square instead of the two flats. Factory axle blocks. Nothing too crazy about it. Look at how far that's through. We're going to have to make a spacer for that. So that's not right. So as with everything, especially on a factory 125, everything has to matter. So things like carbon fibre mounts, little bits of carbon fibre here and there, carbon fibre chain guide, all saves a few ounces. Another thing is having decent ceramic bearings, so the wheel spins like that. Don't happen on a production wheel. Just look, it'll go forever. And that's brand new, so once they're bedded in a little bit, it'll be even better. So little things. Like I say, a factory 125 isn't one thing. You can't just buy a stock bike and put a pipe on it. A factory bike is lots of stuff. So next thing is factory Mikuni carb, sand cast body, it's uber trick. First one with throttle position sensor, power jet, carb. This didn't come production for another 3 years after this bike, so this is really cool. You'll also note there's no choke, because the factory have machined it to get as close to the cylinder as possible. This is a factory intake as well. Closest to the piston as possible, more throttle position, more throttle sense. It'll react quicker. She's a little snug. Has it got a clip in it? So subframe, it's usually a remote build. We usually assemble them in the vise. Airbox cleaned up a treat. Factory intake boot. It's got the silencer on. I'm not sure if that's the silencer we're going to use or not. We're going to have to get some subframe bolts, because the top subframe bolt, I want to say, isn't long enough for the one we've got. So I think we're going to have to shorten a really long one. So the carb's been modified to get further to the piston. So the air boot's going to be a bit of a stretch to get on the back of the carb. So what we'll do first, we'll attach the carb to the air boot and basically pull it forward and just do the carb clip up. So I have to keep getting rid of the greasy fingerprints, because if you don't do it when you go along, it should be underneath a load of other stuff and it'll look horrible. So that's that tone. I'll get some foot pegs next. Rads, and we can start dropping the pipe on maybe. You know what we haven't done? Top chain roller.
Oh, you missed that.
I did miss the top chain roller. I hate doing top chain rollers after the bike's built, but I got all excited. Oh, shall I put this on? Anyways, it was a full factory front brake, mag caliper, 260 oversize carrier, special hose because they use factory Nissin. They have an adjustment lever that way, straight push, ever so trick. Here's one I built earlier. Engineers over here. Where's my coffee anyway?
I thought you would be coming.
No. Another little thing which is always nice on Suzuki's is the bolts which hold the front brake and the clutch on a Suzuki are rounded off. So you can't catch them and have a problem. So, there's your front brake. So I fully rebuilt the brake. The mag calipers are always a pain in the arse because they just corrode. They're just horrible. So They just corrode in the fresh air, so there's all kind of gunk inside them. The pistons are seized up, and it's just always a drama. Oh, we got a spacer issue, Tone. Yeah, we got a huge spacer problem. So front brake's gone on. It's got to come apart again because the one piston's not gone all the way in because there's some magnesium corrosion. So I've got to take it apart, clean it all up again, and then figure it out. The front axle's wrong, so we're gonna have to machine up some spacers. The whole hub is too far to the left at the moment, so to get the disc spacing, we've got to come about 7mm this way. This is just what we do. I can't remember a bike we've ever put together we haven't made front wheel spacers for, because everything's different. So these are the 49 factory forks, the factory wheel, unless you've got every single part of factory. So we're gonna have to modify a couple of stock spacers.
Okay, look. Here we go.
So the rads are always an issue on these. The bike, you know, some of the parts we used when we got them, so the rads had to be refurbed. We sent them to a guy called David Glenhill, Fabby Tech he calls himself. The guy's day job is he builds Red Bull Formula 1 radiators. He's a genius. So he's recorded it, seam welded it. Now it looks exactly how it should do. So normally we'd fit GMX. That's not correct for this build. So the factory rads back on it. So they've been redone, vapored. They look like brand new, so they're perfect. So we'll stick them on. So what we do is we put the rads on first, then the hoses. Actually, electrics last, because there's so much electrics on these bikes. You have to fit them wherever there's a space. If you put the electrics on first, trust me, you'll be taking them off 4 times. So put the rads on, put the hoses on, then see where the electric's got to go, because the frame wasn't designed for this much electrics. And so the shit's hanging off everywhere. So we'll have to do that last, and then take the hoses back off and move it all. But trust me, you can get that wrong. On Suzuki's of this era, they had red top hat washers and red washers, blue top hats. Don't ask me why, that's just how they came from the factory. So, you know, we're building this quickly just to show you, really. Some of it's going to have to come apart again. The electrics are going to be a ball ache, they just are. Not sure whether there's everything you put on, you think, well, that ain't quite right. So, you know, like this bolt's not long enough, so we're going to have to get a longer one machined down to be the right length. So not everything's perfect, but she's almost a dry build. So we're going to put it together, see how it all goes, then we'll take it apart, and that's the real time consuming bit. You know, it's like the front brake I thought was done. No, it isn't. Now we've got to take it apart again and look at it. Some of it, the clamps are all fine, everything's okay, all works good. It's just a matter of really finessing the job to make it nice. I have got a magnesium rear brake master cylinder. I can't find it. I had it in my hand a couple of weeks ago. I haven't seen it since. So it's here somewhere. So we've got to find one of those. Pipe I'll walk you through in a minute. Kickstart's been refurbed, take any slack out of it. Motor's built, skid plates on. Yeah, we're getting there. It does look nice. And now she looks like this, I'm a bit more motivated. When you're working on bits, it's a bit like, but now she's coming together. She's going to be all right. So factory foot pegs, as always, titanium, cast titanium, but welded up together. So I don't know why, but they're the right things. So let's get the pegs on. We're going to have to, you see the pins are very cool. They have a circlip groove instead of a standard split pin groove. So we'll get them on and see if I can find a matching pair, because at the moment I'm struggling a little bit. Need some pipe springs then. So this is a Proper Works Bill's pipe, cone pipe. I know they do sell a stamp pipe with all the welds on, which looks like a cone pipe, which I want to do, but this is a real one. I haven't. There's a guy in Italy who does really good metal work. I've got a good guy in Wales, Nick Clark, who could do the same. The problem is, if you send it to them to blue up all the welds are so close together on this bottom section, it just goes all one colour. It just looks a bit ugly. To be honest, the pipe's been used. I've cleaned it. That's what it is. It's still got yellow bits of plastic from the rider's gear where it's melted. It is what it is. It's the proper pipe. It's the proper thing. And I'm going to stick it on and see if it looks nice. If it doesn't, I'll send it away to get done. If I can live with it, it'll stay on there. right hand rad, special 1.8 factory rad cap, which is 1.8 bar before it lets any water out, which all trick bikes need to have a higher rating rad cap.
A bowl patch, wasn't it? A bowl patch.
I didn't think I had a ball patch till I watched myself on TV. I'm like, who the fuck's the baldy with the white hair? So Travis rode for us in maybe 03, whenever it was. I say us, Smith goggles. And then going into 04, we're like, well, we can't afford him. He's top boy, you know, we're not Oakley, we're not, you know, we just don't have the budget. And he come in my truck in Colorado. And I'm like, here we go. Here comes the negotiations. Like he's going to want our whole budget for one guy, and we just couldn't afford it. So he said to me, I don't worry about it. He said, I'm getting paid plenty from Red Bull and from everybody else. I'll wear your stuff for free. So he was just happy to see where he was going. So talk about trick, unnecessary trick, carbon fibre rear exhaust bracket. I mean, how much does that save from aluminium? It's not even grams, is it? But again, blue top hat, it'll have a red washer on, drilled, titanium bolts. It doesn't get much trickier. So, using up all the cool stuff we got. Well, Industry has been gone forever. Half waffle soft, but gum colour. Oh, they're just cool, aren't they? So I don't know whether Travis used One Industries grips or whether he used Renthal, but we're using One Industries on this one just to see, because I've got them and they look neat. So, old school, sticking them on. The good thing about the factory throttle tube is no hole in the end, so you're not going to fill the throttle tube up with gunk. Stretch them a little bit. Passes the blade down. Got a bit of an air bubble kit. You just got to puncture the end of it to let the air out. There she is.
See through.
Yeah, cool, isn't it?
Colour of the throttle tube.
And I think it's airbox stickers now, Tom. And then we're going to be back into cleaning bits and pieces. So he ain't going to want us to watch this cleaning clutch purchase and stuff, is he? There. Oh no. Fuck, I got it wrong. This should go. Ask me how I know, because I've done a few RM125s in my time. So yeah, I've done this a few times. So that cable routing goes up the wrong side of the frame, through the head stay, and then it's about the straightest shot as you're going to get with the least amount of kinks. So that's as good as it's going to get. Then this goes down here, goes that side of the engine mount. There's all a place for it all, but you've got to put it all in slowly. Yeah, I get PTSD putting these things together. So we're going to try and stick on some of the 25-year-old stickers, which, to be honest, I'm not old enough to hope for. So we'll try. They work. There's a few things we've got to get. We've got to get chain slippers, chain rollers. Got to find the nice mag rear brake caliper. These bolts are too long. And then we've got to put the hoses on, electrics, tank can go on. Travis used the 96, 97, 98 rad panels, not the bigger 2000, 99 and 2000 versions. So we've got those. But now it looks like this. I'm a bit more motivated, if I'm honest. And did I mention I got the front brake wrong? I know I've got to do it again. Calm myself. You see what he did? No. Fucker jumped out of an airplane with no parachute.
It is.
In Puerto Rico, he's banned from parachuting in America for life. Black flag. All he had on was a pair of shorts and sunglasses. And he's literally launched himself out of a plane, hoping that somebody's going to catch him. And then the bloke jumped out behind him. Like, you are going to die unless matey grabs you. You were like, okay. another little Travis story. I was doing his goggles 03, maybe Daytona Supercross. And that's the year that he backflipped, got banned and did all that stuff. I've actually got the jersey and the goggles in my office that he was wearing. We're lining up, and I've got Tortelli and I've got Pastrana and I've got these other guys. And I'm thinking I better spend a bit more time with Travis because he's first race back from a little while. I don't think he's ridden since like Indianapolis or somewhere. So he turns to me and said, "Have you got a drink of water?" I'm like, "Yeah, do you want one?" He's like, "No, but I'm going to need one after." Oh, okay. A strange thing to say. We can go back to the truck for a drink of water, can't you? So he says, "No, I think I'm going to struggle. So where are you going to be stood?" And I'm like, "Well, I'm normally in the mechanics area. Where do you want me to stand?" So he said, "I'll stand on this corner." Okay. He said, "And if I'm struggling, I'll pull in." Okay. And he's riding around and he's looking a bit sketchy. He's looking like he's drunk almost. And he's passing out. He is literally in and out of consciousness. And he's pulled up to me and slumped, and I've had to try and pour water down his neck. He's a boy. So Travis likes a grippy bike. So this grip tape, you wouldn't believe how sticky how grippy it is. It must be like 40 grit sandpaper. So it's on a clear background. So these, if these stay on, we'll use them, but we might have to get new ones. So these basically stick over the graphic so it looks clear, but it's really grippy. Then there's a airbox one, which goes on like that, I guess. And then you've got, these are frame guard ones. So the carbon frame guards, they have these grippy bits. So we'll figure out how they go. Probably the other side, I don't know. But we've got plenty to go at. So that's as far as we're going to take it this time. Front brake's got to come off. We've got to start putting the electrics on. Carb's got to come back off to do the carb clip. We're waiting on a filter. I've got to try and find the nice factory rear brake, master cylinder somewhere. Got a proper factory brake pedal, got a proper factory gear lever. Travis ran the 06 96 shape rad panels, going to get some graphics for them. But just for an afternoon's work, she looks all right, doesn't she? So that's it. Thank you very much for watching. We'll bring you up to date a bit more on this one as we go. I'm hoping to have it on display at Foxhill. If it's done, if it's not, it's not. So priority is getting the Yamaha's built. But we're well ahead of that. As long as the stuff shows up, we're well ahead of the curve now. So thanks for watching. Like and subscribe. Anything trick that we've got for sale, DocWob on DocWob.com. If we can get to 10,000 subscribers, it'd be really cool. It won't make any difference to anybody, but it'd just be nice. And then we're going to keep step up the social media stuff with stuff for sale, because people don't know we got this stuff. And so if we've got it and we're not selling it, there's no point in having it. So like and subscribe. Any questions in the comments, we'll see if we can answer them. And once this is built, we've got one more Suzuki project to do. I'll just give you a teaser there. She's going to be trick.